Hello. The sign here says that I'm live, so I guess that I'm live. Hi, everybody. Welcome. And if it's not 11 a.m. on Sunday and you're tuning in, you're catching this as a video rather than a live event, which is fine because it's the same information. But I just wanted to mention that. And even if you are watching this live, or if you're watching this as a video and you have a question about your own life, leave that in the comments of the video, not in the live stream, because that's going to disappear. So if you're here live with me and you have a question about something in your own life, you come back as a video, leave me a comment, and it'll probably be Tuesday that I'll answer it, because I have some doctor stuff I'm doing on Monday. So anyway, Susan's in. Hello, Susan. Welcome. Welcome. And people are starting to come in. So this is a very exciting time. And I have my cards. So I hope everybody's doing well and everybody had a good holidays. And I know with the pandemic, it was a little bit different. Myself had a Zoom holiday with my son and family we were on for like 5 hours straight. So it was almost like I was there visiting them. But so, thank God for Zoom. 20, 30 years ago, a pandemic would have looked very different, right? So there's always something to be grateful for. And I think that that's really the theme right now, is that no matter what's going on, there's always something we can be grateful for. And just getting out of bed in the morning, and for myself, having working legs and a working body, I wake up with a lot of gratitude and sort of prepare myself for the day. So anyway, hi Louisa, hi Mark. Thanks for coming in, and hello Jay Adams. Happy Sunday. Yes. And if anybody's coming in who's new to this community, that's never watched a live event or a video, and you want to let us know who you are and where you're coming from, please. And as I'm saying that, for some reason, like Western Texas popped up in my mind. It'd be funny if somebody chimed in from somewhere like El Paso or somewhere in the western part of Texas. That would be really funny. But for some reason that came up in my mind. So, interesting week ahead, and we do have a very powerful lunar eclipse on this full moon, which is really, depending on where you are, it's either tonight or tomorrow morning. I don't know the time. If anybody does know the time of the eclipse, I think it's around 4 a.m. here Eastern time, but I'm not 100% positive of that. So hi Anna, thank you and welcome. Hello. So I'm not 100% positive, but I think that it's at 4 in the morning, and that's going to set the tone for a very active December in the astrological world. And by the way, my friend and colleague Armand Diaz does a weekly astrology forecast on YouTube, and his channel is Integral Astrology. And we're not there's no financial arrangement, so this is a recommendation from the heart, not a business recommendation. And on that note, I know another astrologer, numerologist, who's really awesome, named Sharita Starr. And I would definitely encourage you guys to follow her, like on Facebook or Instagram. So Sharita Starr, and she has an interesting take on things also. Astrologers have been talking about 2020 for many, many years, and the results are pretty astounding. So this year has been slated to be a beginning of a massive change of humanity, and that's exactly what's happening. So even though we're going through a lot of strife and a lot of struggles trying to navigate the pandemic, trying to navigate what's real versus what's sensationalized by the media versus what's programmed or controlled, the end result is we're waking up and on my channel, by the way. So let's see, Jan, just 11:22 here in Virginia. Is it 11:22? Oh, 11:22 p.m. I must have the time wrong, man. If it's 11:22 in Virginia, that means it's 11:22 in New York also. So I must have the time wrong. I apologize if I do. But the eclipse is tomorrow. It's 11:30 here on the East Coast. And yeah, so this is going to herald, again, another big shift and another big change. And then we have a really amazing alignment happening at 0 degrees Aquarius. I think officially it's December the 22nd, but there'll be an alignment on the winter solstice also. So a lot of I lived in El Paso for a few months. All right, that maybe I picked up on you then, because all of a sudden I'm seeing El Paso and I've never been there, so I don't know what it looks like. So, in any event, so Sharita Star is a great resource of information, and Armand Diaz does a weekly YouTube astrological forecast. If you want to get more insight that way, I'm going to work with the tarot, and Spirit told me to do something a little bit differently. And to start out, I'm going to actually pull one card. Yeah, based on everybody that's here, and we're a small group. Not surprisingly, it's the Sunday of a holiday weekend, so we're at 14 people now. So we're a very small, intimate group today. And whatever card that I pull is your card to meditate on during the week. That's going to give you the answers that you need to navigate the changes, the awakening, the shift in society, and all the stuff that's going on now. And I'm going to do that now and show you what it is, and then I'll commence with my usual weekly forecast. So what I was going to say is, as I was reading the message about hi Sharon, as I was greeting people, that earlier, your time is right. Thank you, Susan. Is that on the Medium channel, I started this channel based upon a message I got from Spirit last New Year's Eve during my ceremony, saying to start this channel, there's going to be a need for it. And I knew nothing about YouTube, and really very shy and awkward on camera. So I did a lot of practice and a lot of affirmation to get to the point where I could actually do this and at least look halfway comfortable anyways. And then the pandemic hit, and we're in this great awakening. And recently I've had a nice upsurge in subscribers. So I think people are starting to find the channel now, and seeing that I'm part of a team of really thousands, if not tens of thousands of people that are that have undergone an awakening process already and are here to guide others that are awakening during this time of massive shift. So what I'm going to be doing is, the videos this month are going to be very connected to your awakening. So I have one on how to change your programming to basically change your life. So it's basically a technique that I share to shift your energy fields. And when you change your energy, you change your reality. And I have another one on embracing the shadow and working with your shadow, which is basically that part of ourselves that's Eckhart Tolle refers to as the pain body also, that tends to create these dramas and traumas and patterns in our lives. So we have to actually embrace that before we can move past that. And I'm going to be doing 2021 predictions on New Year's Eve, so that's going to be a video also. And I forgot what my other one was, but anyway, it's relevant. But yeah, I'm going to do one on how to actually like manifest money also, because the Medium channel is the the spirituality behind the message. And one of the most important spiritual lessons is spirits having a human experience is learning how energy works and learning how to manifest your reality. So a lot of law of attraction stuff goes into this channel, and I developed a program called Power Attunements, and I teach it, which is a empowerment law of attraction program. So anyways, without further ado, let me just pull our meditation card for the week, and let's see what that's saying, and then I'll do my usual 3-card forecast. And this is the one that came up. Oh, interesting. We got the Emperor card, which is actually very significant for right now, because it represents the sign Aries, and Mars has been transiting Aries for quite a while. It went retrograde for over 2 months, then in forward motion again. The sign Aries and the Emperor is about control, like self-control and leadership. So meditating on this card is going to help you and me to stay in our power, to be kind of the emperor of our own energy, so to speak. And there's a lot of red in this card, so that's about action, that's about energy, that's about motivation, that's about drive. So you meditate on this card, every day, and you will get some interesting messages, and some interesting validations will come through. So what else is this telling me? Because what's getting my attention when I look at it is this Ankh, which is this figure that he's holding here. Which is one of the symbols of life for the Egyptians, also holding a crystal ball, or the world. And really, this is really about, again, we remind us that we have the power to make the changes we wish in our lives. And the emperor also represents rulership, so we also have the issue that there's a lot of control through, I don't even want to say the government, because I believe that there's forces that actually control the governments also. But whatever your take is on what's happening in the world, there's a leadership structure, not struggle. There's a leadership structure that we find to be limiting at times, and part of the awakening is sort of developing the ability to rise above the status quo, or the control, or the energetic dictatorship that comes into play with the control and everything. So it's a lot about owning your individuality, claiming your power and rulership over your own over your own domain, basically speaking. And the only way I believe that we can control anything is recognizing the fact that we don't control anything, but we influence everything. So if you think about it, everything that we do is consciousness, and it affects the collective consciousness. So everything you think, do, feel, and act influences everything, but we really can't control anything. And once you realize that, that's when you can start to grow and start to change, and start to reprogram and everything. So I'm going to mix some cards up and look into the week ahead. Like I said, we're starting out with a very powerful eclipse, and moving closer to that Saturn Jupiter alignment. And once that hits 0 degrees Aquarius, I think that happened around the 18th or 19th of December. Aquarius is a very revolutionary, it's Uranus ruled, so it's a very powerful, kind of a sudden explosion, sudden change kind of an energy. And this is going to represent the beginning of a new phase of our collective awakening. And 2021, I'll give you a little sneak preview on my predictions for 2021. That's when the mass awakening is really going to start. And you're going to, I think by mid-year, we're even going to start to see changes in the way people think, what people want out of the governments, what's even taught in schools, and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, mixing cards up. And this feels good. So I'm going to break into 3 piles, then bring back into 1. And I'm going to move my computer back just a nudge so I can do this properly. And pull my cards. That's number 1. This one's number 2. Oops, I got number 2 and number 3. Okay. And I have a very high-tech system of displaying the cards here. So, hold on, wait for it. Ta-da! I'm a little silly on a Sunday morning, I admit it. All right, so you will see my card. You won't see me for a moment. So this is what I pulled. I mean, just energetically, it does feel to me like I don't know what the right words are, but it's almost like I feel like the tarot's telling us that we're kind of needing to really kind of center, ground, and refocus, basically. And looking at this in the perspective of, say, collective consciousness, or what's happening in the world. These cups to me overturn. The sevens are often about like illusion and delusion, because it links in with the planet Neptune. Sometimes it's also about kind of replanning and refocusing. And I'm getting a real feeling about kind of like letting go now, and just sort of just kind of coming into this perspective that, okay, this has happened. We've been there, we've done that. We're trying to make our adjustments or whatever. It's just kind of time to let go of things, and to really follow your own heart and your own truths and your own values. So I do feel like I get a feeling like around the world, if this is representing the beginning, I think the next 2 or 3 days there's going to be a little bit of confusion, or a little bit of uncertainty about things in current events. There may be something that comes up around the elections that's questionable, or around. I actually scratch that. I think this is more about the pandemic and the vaccines, or stuff like that as well. And I think some of the news will be maybe just hinting at a little bit of delay, on the distribution or the development of that, or a little bit of uncertainty, or some question about the safety or stuff like that as well. But to me, it has more of kind of a calming and a letting go kind of a feeling. And it's been an emotional Thanksgiving, because a lot of people had to change their plans, and other people didn't, and other people are looking to see what's going to happen the next 2 weeks. It's like, okay, a lot of people have gathered, maybe they shouldn't have, and maybe there's going to be a spike in cases, and maybe our state's going to have to go on lockdown. So there's a certain amount of trepidation, and I think we're just kind of having to really go with the flow, and really, again, feeding off that emperor card earlier on. Really feed, really, what's the right word? To really just kind of let go. And I can't think of the word. As I was talking, the number 13 flashed in my mind, and I always look at 13 because it's the death card in the tarot. So I always look at that as a transformation. So I think you may have some kind of personal transformations happening earlier on in the week. Now, this Queen of Swords is an interesting energy to come up, because the queens are really about the water. So it's the element of water, and the swords are air. So it's like the water and the air. So the Queen of Swords can really help us to balance things that are emotional with intellect. And it also gives me the feeling like there may be some more stuff that comes up that seems very kind of controlling, or some new kind of mandates or rules that come up as well. Because the queen, and king are rulership cards, but the difference between the king and the queen is that the king will tend to sort of rule or dictate through intellect, where the queen will do that more through emotions or more through feelings. And um, and you may find that there's a lot of like emotional reactionary stuff that goes on in the world. So midweek there may be a little bit of turmoil, sort of based upon a lot of uncertainty, and people really reacting emotionally to one or two like news events that come up. I'm also, as I'm talking, I'm getting images around, like, I want to say, the Middle East and that part of the world. So there may be some news or some changes that kind of come up, or some news out of the Middle East, maybe Iran or Iraq, or one of those areas. I don't think anything terribly alarming or anything like that. But let me just see what else that I can take up with that. I'm seeing the queen looking at the sword. So the queen is the water and the emotions, and looking at the mind and the intellect. So I think it's just saying, this is, again, energetically a charged week. We're sort of gearing up. We're having an eclipse. Eclipses energize. They're forebringers. I can't even pronounce that word this morning. Forebearers of change. And And I think it's just Spirit's way of saying we really have to just be sort of mindful of what the reality is, as much as a physical, environment can be real. And then the hangman is really about spirituality, and it's about sacrifice and letting go. And it's reversed. So I kind of get the feeling that there may be a lot of chaos that develops later on in the week, a lot of uncertainty with the world around us. And one or two mistakes I think are going to get revealed. But it's really calling upon us to stay in our power, to stay in our focus, and to remember to be generous and to give. So I think the energy of the holiday season really starts to come in also as well. So anyways, stop not manifesting money. Okay, I'm just looking at all of your comments. So thank you for everybody that's in right now as well. Um, yeah. So what else? Or let me just see what else Spirit is trying to say. I'm looking at that. I just hearing, it's important now. I mean, it's always important, but now more than ever to be your true, authentic self, and to meditate. Do a lot of meditation this week, and meditate on the heart center, because as I'm talking, I'm feeling my heart opening up, and maybe even take a moment to just send love out into the world. Like I said, I think people are trying to adapt. They're trying to figure things out in their own lives and their own dramas and stuff like that. And it's interesting because as I'm looking at the hangman, I'm also seeing something with money as well. And again, there may be just some news or something that comes out about maybe they start to work on on the stimulus package again, and here in the States, anyways, or things aligning with the euro, or some news about some more uniform currency. Basically, the general energy is just there's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of upheaval. And then we need to kind of stay grounded. We need to kind of stay strong. We need to kind of stay focused. I'm going to turn this around because it's hard for me to get vibes when I'm holding this up like that as well. Yeah, I'm looking at the Queen of Swords, and I feel like to say, those of you that like to journal and write, to do that a lot of ideas are coming up. And there may be something with the astrological aspects that's really affecting the mind. And I think a lot more people are going to start to get spiritual downloads also. So I get this feeling that people may start to, especially people that have been on the spiritual path for a while, but it could be spontaneous also, that I think people are going to start to really get some really clear ideas. And I think, again, the hangman is also air, I believe, in the tarot, though. Is Sarah Saxon? No, she's not. Sarah would know. She's another medium and a tarot reader. But I believe that represents air. So there's a lot of air, a lot of water. That's kind of the theme. Water's emotions, air is intellect. So we have to understand the nature of feelings, like the word emotions. And I actually saw there's somebody on YouTube I really like, named Jake Ducey, that says this all the time. He's a spiritual entrepreneur, amazing young man, and his byline is the word emotion is the letter E, and then the word motion, so it's energy and motion. Now I have to say, my 11th grade physics teacher, Dr. Malholter, used to say the same thing, so it's certainly not a new concept. But the idea is that what we feel, it creates a lot of energy, and it creates our reality, or it influences our reality, might be a better way of putting that as well. So I feel like what Spirit is saying, how everything that's going on in the world affects us as evolving spiritual people, is that there's a lot of emotional triggers. I mean, there has been for a while, obviously, and then we have to really stay kind of grounded in the mind, so to speak. Not locked or limited by the mind, but just kind of grounded in our mind, and our power of reason and our power of discernment as human beings. And with that and the ability to connect and to trust spirit, because the queen, the sword is pointing upwards. So the sword represents truth, and the sword's pointing upwards. You can really see that on my webcam. The sword pointing upwards is really about the truth being up, like the truth being your spirit or above. And the sword could be like a conduit of energy of spirit. So there may be some ability to actually channel information or stuff like that as well. Spirits also show me the color white and the white flag. So I feel like they're saying, this is a good time to surrender, not to feel like you have to constantly fight the system, but rather empower yourself. And then you'll be much more, what's the right word? Much more empowered to fight, or to question things when you need to question things. I wanted to put one of the angel cards also as a final message for the morning. So unlicensed thinker saying, stop not manifesting money. That's a very good idea. To me, that means to stop not manifesting money means to clear the programs that tell us that either money is hard, or money doesn't grow on trees, or you need to have a certain education to make money, or you need to do this to make money, or you need to do that to make money. And rather, money is an energy. And I'm going to talk about this not next Thursday, but in the following Thursday video, how the fact that the money is really not real, the money is worthless, basically, and really knowing that is actually the beginning of your process of being able to attract unlimited money, because money's not on a standard. It's been off the gold standard since the 70s. Basically means there's nothing of value in this world like precious metals to validate the value of money, so therefore it's worthless. However, we believe it has worth and value because it's our system of fair trade. So what is belief and thought? It's energy. So money is energy. And once you understand that it exists like any other form of energy, there's one energy, there's a infinite amount of expressions that one energy can take, but all energy exists in abundance. There's abundance of air around me. I'm looking out at the Catskill Mountains. There's abundance of trees. There's abundance of water in the Esopus Creek right by my house. I have abundance of cells in my body. There's abundance, unlimited money also. If you align your vibration to that energy, you start to become magnetic towards it. So anyways, I'm just feeding off you, unlicensed thinker. We kind of become YouTube buddies as we're both growing, developing channels right now as well. Spirituality and philosophy, exactly. Thank you. Thank you. So Unlicensed Thinker has some very interesting videos he releases every day. So if you want to check out a different perspective on similar topics, go there also. So what are the cards trying to tell me? Oh, we got Astara. That's one of my favorite cards in the deck. And this is really, again, for our group. We're 24 people, so we're a very small group. I think with the webcam you can't really see the words, but you can see the image. This is Doreen Virtue, by the way. Messages from the angels, and you deserve the best. Reach for the stars with your dreams and desires, and don't compromise. And what else is this trying to tell me? What it's trying to tell me is the first step is actually having a dream, and being very specific with the dreams. Like my dream now is actually for my courses that I'm developing and my work to be available to millions of people, and for me to basically be a thought leader and a way shower for hundreds of thousands or millions of people during this time of spiritual awakening. So I've been training since I had my awakening at age 19, and I'm 62 now. I've basically been training for this time. So even though those of you that know me know that I really kind of, push my YouTube channel and on social media and leverage my other platforms to get subscribers. And you might think my goal is to get a lot of subscribers on YouTube, but that's not it. That's a means to an end. And my goal is to make a difference in your lives and a lot of people's lives, starting with my own life. So I believe that a star is telling you guys the same thing. You're not here by accident. If you're drawn to spiritual channels, it's because you've had a spiritual opening, maybe an awakening yourself. Um, and you're wanting to actually make a difference also. So I feel like they're saying is to to be focused on your goal, but without being focused on it, if that makes any sense. So in other words, have a clear image of what your goal is, but to eliminate any preconceived ideas about what that should look like, what that should be. Because in reality, when you have a focus on a goal, and you're shifting your energy fields and changing the neural pathways in your mind to become magnetic to that goal, nobody has any idea of how that's going to happen or what that's going to look like. But when you start to focus on it, you do your law of attraction or meditation, then you start to become more magnetic to opportunities. Synchronicities start to happen. Coincidences seem to start to go in your favor or whatever. But we don't have any idea of what that is. So whatever your ultimate goal is, like, do you want to teach, or do you want to just have a lot of wealth so you can be maybe a philanthropist, or travel the world, or whatever it is. Hold that goal firmly in your mind and do your work. I'm very big on affirmations and other reprogramming techniques. But then be open to what the universe gives you. So always say, and I used to, well, I still do a little bit of Wicca, not magic so much, but some of the rituals that I learned in the 90s for empowerment. And always say, when you want to attract something in your life, like say you have a like a crush on somebody and you really want that person in your life, or to be closer, always say, this or something greater manifest. That way you're not blocking something even better that the universe may be trying to give you, and you're not trying to manipulate another person's free will. So be focused on the goal, but don't be rigid. Don't go into obsession, because obsession and neediness is creepy and repels. So anyway, that's my words of wisdom for a Sunday morning after a long holiday weekend. So hopefully you're all with me, and what I'm saying is making some sense to you, and that will help empower you for this week. So it's going to be a very active December, lots of ups and downs, lots of emotional triggers. I think what the cards are trying to tell us is to allow your mind to still rule. The thing is that rather than our mind controlling us, which is how most of us live our lives, we want to learn how to control the mind. Again, it's not control, but it's having a higher degree of influence. So once we start to gain greater influence over our mind and our thinking, then that's when we can change our lives, because the subconscious mind runs on programs, and we're 95% subconscious. So most of the programs come from society or somebody else. So when you start to gain greater control over your own mind, you can start to reprogram yourself and create different realities. So anyways, that's what I have for you this morning. Thank you, everybody. And again, if you have a question about your own life, check this out. I mean, you don't have to rewatch the whole video or anything, but you can go on and just rate your question. And probably Tuesday I'll answer my questions. And that's it. So have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. It's really nice out. When I woke up, I saw that this weird orange glowing object in the horizon, and I had to ask somebody, what is that? And then I was reminded, well, you remember when you were kids and you called it the sun? And I was like, oh yeah, right. That you'd only find that funny if you live in upstate New York. Anyway, have a blessed day, everybody, and we'll see you at the next video.